Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. It is the Conservative Coin Collector. If you're just an average Joe on the street, you probably only know about the first four coins: the penny, the nickel, the dime, and the quarter. If you have researched coins in any way, you'll know about the half dollar and the dollar coin. What if I was to say that America had more coins than that, and that all those coins have been abolished and they have been gone for over 150 years at this point? We used to have a 2-cent piece, a 3-cent piece, a half dime, and a 20-cent piece. Those are the coins I'm covering today. And they have a very interesting history. And there's also a good reason why these coins have been gone since the 1870s. Now, when it comes to coins that have been abolished, I'm not going to count the cent because that was just abolished, and the cent has not been demonetized. The rest of these coins have also been demonetized, and you can't use them in circulation, and the cent is going to be in circulation and used for at least another 100 years. These abolished coins have also been demonetized, and they got an interesting history to them. I don't want to take up too much more of your time, so I'm just going to leave you with don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and hit the bell icon. And well, on to the first coin I have for you, the half penny or the halfpenny. The first coin I have to cover is the smallest coin that we ever had, the halfpenny or the half cent. The coin was first authorized by the Coinage Act of 1792, and it was made of 100% copper, and half a cent is 2/200th of a dollar, 1/200th of a dollar, which means 200 of them would make a dollar, versus the cent, which is 100 make a dollar, so even smaller than the cent, which is pretty much worthless today as it is, but not back in 1792. It was slightly smaller than a modern quarter, and they were all produced at the Philadelphia Mint. There were several design types throughout its life: the Liberty Cap, the Drake Bust, and the one that I'm showing you, the braided hair. It was the last design until the coin's discontinuation. The Coinage Act of February 21st, 1857 discontinued the half cent and the similar large cent and authorized the small cent, which the very first small cent was the Flying Eagle, and that was only around for a few years. And then the first small cent to be around for a long time was the Indian Head, and then if you know the history, you know what leads to the current cent that we have today, at least until it got discontinued. 2-cent piece. It was produced by our mint for circulation from 1864 to 1872 and for collectors in 1873. Designed by James B. Longcare, they were decreasing mintages each year as other minor coins such as the nickel proved more popular. The cent was made of a copper-nickel alloy, and it was thicker, but it was the same diameter as the cent. There was a whole bunch of economic turmoil caused by the American Civil War, and a lot of coins, even non-silver coins, were hoarded by the public. The mint officials recommended the coin's metal replacement, and despite opposition from those wishing to keep the metal, the copper-nickel coinage was eventually made with bronze, because coins weren't made of bronze at the time. When Congress passed the Coinage Act of 1864, it authorized the bronze 2-cent pieces. Although initially popular in the absence of other federal coinage, the 2-cent piece in circulation was usurped by other base metal coins. And Congress, let's just say the decrease in popularity, Congress had to make a choice. And the Mint Act of 1873 was that choice. The 2-cent piece was abolished by the Mint Act of 1873 because, as I have previously said, the nickel was more popular. The 3-cent piece. We had a 2-cent piece and a 3-cent piece in the middle of the penny and the nickel. It's the one coin that mathematically doesn't make sense because, hear me out here. 1 penny is 1/100th of a dollar. The 2-cent coin makes sense mathematically because 50 of them make a dollar. And the nickel makes sense because 20 of them make a dollar. But the 3-cent piece, 100 divided by 3 is 33.3 repeated. And that decimal millimeter, it's gotta be even and equal. I suppose it could be rounded down to 33 of them make a dollar, but still. It has to end at a 5 or a 0 to make sense to make it a dollar. The 3-cent piece had 2 designs originally, and there was the silver and the nickel designs. And there was a design pattern for a bronze one in 1863, but the bronze pattern never went anywhere. It was proposed in 1851 as a result in the decrease of postage rates from 5 to 3 cents. And boy, do I wish postage rates were still that same. The postage rate for a first-class package in the mail today is 78 cents, compared to 3 cents back pre-Civil War. They needed a smaller denomination, an easy-to-handle coin for the postage rates back in the day, and that's why the 3-cent piece was proposed. And the 3-cent silver originally was 75% silver, but the metal content was raised to 90% to encourage circulation. They were physically the lightest weight coins, and not really worth melting down for its silver content, being they were only 0.8 grams, and the weight was reduced to 0.75 grams when they became 90%. So they were very, very small, and the small coins like that were not worth melting down because you'd have to get a whole handful of them to make profit off of them. And of course, later in American history, melted down coins for profit became a crime. The 3-cent piece, along with the half dime and the 2-cent piece that I covered, were discontinued by the Coinage Act of 1873. Right now, in modern America, we have the nickel. Pre the nickel, we had the half dime. It was a silver coin valued at 5 cents. And some numismatists consider this denomination to be the first business strike coin minted by the United States Mint under the Coinage Act of 1792, with production beginning on or about July 1792. Others consider the 1792 half dime, spelled with an S, to be nothing more than a pattern coin or a test piece, and the matter continues to be subject to debate. These coins were much smaller than dimes, and the thickness appearing to be half dimes. In the 1860s, powerful interests promoted the use of nickel as a metal, which would be made of a copper-nickel alloy. Production of such coins began in 1865 and 66 respectively. The introduction of the copper-nickel 5-cent pieces made the silver coins of the same denomination redundant, and the silver denomination of the half dime turned into the nickel was discontinued in 1873. Perhaps the weirdest and the most obscure coin America ever had was the 20-cent piece. And the 20-cent piece pretty much had a history that was like 5 seconds long. The 3-cent piece had a life from 1875 to 1878, but only for collectors in the final 2 years. Proposed by Nevada Senator John P. Jones, it provided a failure due to the confusion with the quarter. It was close in both size and value to the much more popular, much more well-established quarter. In 1874, the newly elected Jones began pressing for a 20-cent piece, which he would have stated would have alleviated the shortage of small change in the far west. The bill passed Congress, and the mint director at the time, Harry Linderman, ordered pattern coins struck. Linderman eventually decided on an obverse and reverse similar to that of the other silver coins at the time. Although the coins would have a smooth edge rather than a reeded one with other silver coins, the new piece was close to the size of and immediately confused with the coin. They were almost identical. After the first year in which over 1 million were minted, there was little demand and the denomination was abolished in 1878. At least a third of the total mintage was later melted by the government. Mark Benevuto called the 20-cent piece a chapter of U.S. coinage that had closed almost before it began, and he is a numismatist.